Hi, I'm going to assume that I'm live on Facebook. I'm Sarah Schwartzbaum, the founder of the Academy for Couples Therapists. Today, I will be talking about helping couples become more emotionally regulated during a session. I will talk about three topics: co-regulation, self-regulation, for about 10-15 minutes. And if you stay till the end of the talk, you will also hear about the importance for the couples therapist to self-regulate too. So the number one problem that therapists who work with couples mention when I ask them what is the most challenging part of the work, they tell me it's the emotional dysregulation of the couples in a session. You know the type. A high conflict couple will use ineffective strategies to get their needs met. They blame each other for their problems in front of you in hopes of recruiting you as their ally against their partners. And they repeat emotionally dysregulated activities and behaviors, even though they don't work. One of the reasons couples do this is because their lower brain, the seat of emotion, gets activated, and their higher brain, the seat of reason, logic, and problem solving, is not operational. This is not the only reason why people do this in a session, but it is an important one to be able to assess and increase the couple's motivation to change it, because otherwise none of the other work will be able to take place. So the first thing to do is to educate the couples about what's happening with their brains and tell them that you want to try something new to help them bring their higher brain back online. The reason you want to help them do this, you could say to them, is because no productive conversation will ever take place when one or both of them are in lower brain. Many of the activities I propose here can be rehearsed during a session so couples create new habits of mind. No single intervention is effective for every couple, and doing these activities in a session assumes they have a very good working alliance with them. There are various ways to increase self-regulation and co-regulation. I believe both are important and will cover them separately. Remember, you need the partner's buy-in for any intervention to be successful. As with any intervention, you would retract if it's not working, but it often takes more than one time to rehearse a new habit of mind to achieve results. So I want to talk first about co-regulation and to increase the ability of one partner to soothe the other. When couples first meet, they engage in many activities I will describe in a minute. And then after a while, they stop doing them, which is one of the reasons that contributes to emotional distance and dysregulation. The increased ability to soothe a partner with words of comfort, gestures, or touch lowers stress hormones and brings the higher brain back online in one or both partners. One thing that is not emphasized enough in trainings is that each person in an adult relationship is responsible for the well-being of their partner. And couples therapy is in part a forum to aid, let's say, partner A to get to know and accept partner B better, and to aid partner A to develop a sort of instruction manual on how to soothe partner B in the ways that partner B wants to be soothed. So soothing with words is one of those ways. The need to hear soothing words does not end with childhood. Soothing and comforting words given by a loving partner can make a world of difference in the other partner's distress, whether the distress is related to the relationship or not. Many couples know how to do this. I'll take care of it. I care about you. I'm on your side. I'm here for you. I love you. Everything will be okay. I know this is hard. I hear you. Are all examples of soothing words that can help regulate partners. But you need to assess their ability, in addition to their comfort, in using verbal co-regulation. If they know how to do it, or they're uncomfortable doing it, but they want to, you or the partner can teach them. You can guide partners to discuss what words would be soothing for each of them and which would not, and help them practice during the session. You can say to each, turn around, look at her in the eye, and tell her what you just said again. Sometimes I have to ask them to repeat it 3 times because the first time, sometimes they do it or their partners think they do it only because I tell them to do it. But by the second or third, they make it more their own and it becomes more soothing to their partner. So I just talked a little bit about soothing partner with words. I want to move on next to soothing partner with presence. When couples first meet and fall in love, if they had a good bonding period, they spend a lot of time paying attention to each other. They do fun things. They ask a lot of questions of each other. They spend time together and they express gratitude. Not less important is the fact that in the beginning, couples greet each other with intention upon re-entry after a separation, and some check in with each other during times of daily separation. In long-term adult intimate relationships, much of the distress and dysregulation can be explained by how couples deal with daily separations, whether they have intentional re-entry rituals, and whether they are present with each other and express gratitude to each other. Often, long-term couples stop sharing the same space without a computer, a TV, a phone, and they don't update their knowledge of each partner on a regular basis, and they stop their re-entry rituals. Sometimes a couples therapy session is the only time that the couple is in the same room without looking at screens, talking about themselves, their partner, or their relationship. Of course, that assumes you're seeing them in person, but even if you're seeing them online, it's oftentimes the only time that they're sitting next to each other in a room without looking at other screens like a phone or a computer. You know what I mean. The gift of presence and reentry rituals alone can be emotionally regulating because it answers the question, how important am I in your life, in a positive way? When people go straight to their phones or to their computers or to their children and don't have reentry rituals, that question is not answered in a positive way. The question was, how important am I in your life? So attention, greetings, gratitude, and presence during no-screen meetings regulate the brain. For the no-screen meetings to succeed, they need to be devoid of conflict. So couples therapy sessions could be understood as a form of no-screen meeting, as I was saying, and sessions can be devoted to practicing questions or sentence completion exercises. It's important to spend time during a couples therapy session with positive, not conflict-laden conversations, not only conflict-laden conversations. If during therapy you only deal with their problems, they will not have enough practice to do this at home. Here's a sample of what you could do in terms of sentence completion. What I like best about our time together is the best times of our relationship were when I really like it when I'm grateful for the way in which what I like most about you. And then you could also teach them or coach them to ask questions. What do you wish we did when we reunite at the end of the day or when we go to bed? What do you most look forward to when you come home? So they can begin to work on their reentry rituals. I want to move on to soothing partner with eye contact. Eye contact is an offshoot of presence and it decreases stress hormones and lowers brain activity. Looking into partner's eyes implies care, empathy, and connection, and sustaining the gaze is not an easy activity for some people. Practicing eye contact during a session can prime a couple for a new habit. You can instruct your couples when they're talking to each other to do so while looking intently in their eyes of their partner. Now I want to talk about soothing partner with touch. Touch deprivation is an important issue that explains many dysregulated states. Lack of touch increases stress hormones, affects the immune system, and the general mood of some people. And mood irritability can be the cause or the effect of touch deprivation, creating a vicious cycle. Physical touch and erotic activity are two distinct processes, but sometimes they get commingled, leading to further disconnection in the vicious cycle I was talking about. During a session, you can guide couples to engage in very, very small touch activities to lower their lower brain arousal. You can ask client to touch their partner's knees, hold hands, and even just hold a finger. Then couples can move on to touch each other's face, put a head on a shoulder, or try a long body-to-body hug in a session. If they haven't been doing any kind of touching, you have to start them practicing in the session. So now I want to talk a bit about self-regulation and self-soothing. Couples therapists can recommend a variety of tools, including mindfulness, imagery, meditation, breathing, or body scans to soothe their clients, or to whatever they like best. They need, you can assess which of those forms they would like best. Guiding clients through self-soothing techniques while they're in higher brain. Guiding clients through self-soothing techniques while they were in higher brain is helpful, because they can become more able to do this when they're in lower brain, when they're not in the session. They might remember the techniques when they go into lower brain in between sessions. So even if they're not in lower brain in session and they are regulated, you can help them to develop the habit of certain self-soothing activities, whatever works best for them. Once this becomes part of their repertoire, therapists can call clients out when they do get into lower brain in a session and request a timeout for a breathing exercise or a short meditation exercise, for example. Now, therapists can catch clients when they become dysregulated in a session and use techniques to alter their lower brain reactions. In the beginning of treatment, and after I talk with a couple about higher brain, lower brain concepts, I ask them if I have their permission to act when I see them in lower brain. Invariably, they say yes. Sometimes just helping them access what's happening right now is enough to stop the reactivity. But if that doesn't work, I may say, let's take a few minutes to figure out what's going on. I've had clients take a break during a session, leave the room to get a glass of water, or go to the bathroom. I've asked clients to raise both hands above their heads and stretch. I've instructed clients to write on pads of paper when they have trouble listening because they want to interrupt or cross-complain. So there's a variety of things you can do to help clients come back from lower brain in the session. To further help clients make a connection between what they feel and how they act, you can have them pause and reflect on their feelings, and then ask them to think about how they want to convey their feelings to the partner in the session. I do this by having clients talk to me first, and only after they have some clarity about what they want to say do I encourage them to talk to their partners. I also ask the couples in my practice to cultivate what I've been calling a, quote, revision, unquote, practice, to create a space between the feeling and the action, between the first instinct and the behavior. I ask them to think of their first thoughts and the first things they want to say that come to their mind as the first draft. A draft always needs revisions. The first draft is like the reflex that gets activated. When you teach your clients to tolerate a negative emotion, you're teaching them to slow down for the prefrontal cortex to come back online. When clients begin to cultivate a revision practice, they can think of their initial reaction as the draft of a paper. When they revise, they can make space for alternative thoughts and feelings, and they can figure out what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, so that what they end up saying becomes clearer, better, and kinder. The other thing you could do is help a client set an intention for the session in the beginning. It's important to help clients get grounded in a session by setting an intention that reflects their values. What do I want to learn about myself today? How do I want my partner to feel when I bring up a difficult topic? What kind of a partner do I want to be? These are ways to set an intention for a session and has the potential to prevent lower brain activation in the first place. You can remind them of their stated intention if they get dysregulated. Of course, you can also direct awareness to the parts of bodies, or to the parts of their body while breathing. That can be a powerful way to increase emotional self-awareness and integration, and may lead to self-soothing. You could do a 1 or 2 minute body scan during a session to help them locate the tension and talk about it, and that will also slow down their breathing. Now I want to move on, lastly, to the self-regulation of the couples therapist. So couples therapists are humans too. And as humans, we get triggered into lower brain survival mind states and become dysregulated just as our couples do. Like our clients, we get in and out of emotional regulation, oscillating between collaborative, adversarial, and withdrawn states. Effective couples therapy may be the most rewarding activity, I always say, but it sure is the hardest one on the therapist. So when we get into survival lower brain mode, activated by what's happening in the room, we, quote, forget, unquote, our own theories about how to help couples get better. And we become less creative and more confused about how to proceed in a session. We need to self-regulate in part also because it's good modeling, and it's needed to repair breaches in the alliance that inevitably occur when we work with couples. So when we become, when we become dysregulated and get into a survival mind state, we have lower brain reactions, like I said, similar to the ones our clients experience. And we're trying to avoid discomfort, we avoid connection, or we argue with our clients overtly or covertly. When we don't experience ourselves as confident, competent, and creative in a case or in a session, that probably means our lower brain mind state has been activated. So the following are some examples of typical therapist self-talk during a session that indicates that at least these kinds of self-talk indicate to me that I've entered in a lower brain state of mind. So one is loss of creativity. I may say to myself, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything with this couple. I have loss of empathy for one partner or both. He's so defensive. I don't understand what she sees in him. They would be better off divorced. There is no hope for them. Or I lose my own clinical self-esteem. This couple would be better off with someone else. I should have taken that training. I should have read that book. I'm really not suitable for this couple. I also lose focus. Where are we going? What are we doing? What were we just talking about before? So if losing connection, collaboration, or the ability to get back into higher brain functioning is normal and expected byproduct of the work we do, how do we get it back? So we each have to figure that out on our own. I need to become aware that I have entered a lower brain state, and I have to use the techniques that are known to me to put my higher brain back online prior to or during a session. These are some of my personal favorites, and some of them are the same ones that I tried to teach my clients. I tried to become aware of my breathing. I tried to become aware of my thinking. I introduce a pause between my thinking and my talking. I'm not sure which way to go now. I need a minute to think about what I want to say or do next. I feel like I don't fully understand your experience from your point of view. What am I missing that will help me get there? Part of me wants to do this and another part wants to do that. And I wonder which one we will end up doing. I actually have taken an actual break, whether in person or virtually, interrupting the session for 1 or 2 minutes. I leave the room and I come back, and that gives me enough time to settle my brain. Finally, preparing for sessions is important for couples therapists. We need to know where the clients have been, where they are now, and where we want to take them next. We also need to know how each partner triggers us, as I was saying earlier. We don't know everything that's going to happen in a session, but we do want to have some clarity about the direction based on our theoretical frameworks and our ideas about how to help them get better. Some therapists who work with couples think they can wing it. Winging it may work with individuals, but it doesn't work with couples. It puts the therapist at risk of losing prefrontal cortex control. When we regulate and get our brain back online, we recover and remember our theories about how to help them, and we regain our confidence, our creativity, our focus, and our sense of direction. This is the end of the talk. I will stay on for a few minutes in case you have any questions. You can post them on the group. You can, of course, always reach me directly by email at sarah@theacademyforcouplestherapists.com. That is all together, sarah@theacademyforcouplestherapists.com. I'm going to see if there are any questions on the Facebook group. Okay. If not, I just want to say in closing, I don't see anything. Let's see if I can get in my group. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye soon. And I just want to remind you that I come online in these Facebook talks about once a month now. And I'd like to give you tools to enhance your clinical work with couples. If you've been following my work, you know that I think one size doesn't fit all in couples therapy, and that we need to be continually learning to acquire new tools to become more confident and more effective. If you're on my email list, you get occasional tools too. I have made it my mission to help therapists who want to improve their work with couples to become more confident and more effective. Thank you.